Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about what it really means to be healthy. And spoiler alert, it's probably not what you think. We're going to dive into a whole philosophy on how to achieve this state of complete well-being. And it all starts with connecting our inner world to the world outside.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with an idea that kind of changes the whole game. You know the word health? Well, it actually comes from the root word whole. So think about that for a second. True health isn't just about not being sick. It's about feeling a real sense of completeness, a sense of wholeness inside.
So, here's what we've got on the agenda. We're going to talk about what this wholeness actually feels like. Then we'll get into why our modern lives seem to pull us away from it. And then the good stuff, the practical ways to get it back. We're talking nature, what you eat, this idea of internal cleansing, and finally, how to balance the 4 key parts of who you are. All right, so if health means being whole, what does that actually feel like in your body and your mind? Because, this isn't some abstract concept. It's a real, tangible, vibrant way of being. So this feeling of wholeness, it's described as this amazing harmony of 4 different things. Picture this. Your body feels vibrant. Your mind is joyful. Your emotions are, well, they're exuberant. And then there's your energy. It's described as effervescent, which is a great word, right? It's like this gentle, steady, bubbling energy that's full of life, but also totally calm and balanced. Okay, so that leads to a really important question, right? If this feeling of wholeness is supposed to be our natural state, why do so many of us feel so disconnected, so incomplete? What's blocking us? Well, the source we're looking at points to this really interesting idea. See, we've all got a certain amount of energy for, physical stuff, for thinking, and for feeling. But in today's world, those channels for physical action and emotional expression, they just don't get used. It's like they're blocked up, causing this internal stagnation. And the suggestion here is that this is a huge reason for the rise in depression. And this slide just lays out that mismatch perfectly. I mean, think about it. We're wired to experience the world for real, to watch an actual sunset, to move our bodies, to let our feelings out. But what's the modern reality? We see sunsets on a screen, we sit all day, we bottle up our emotions. We're basically cutting ourselves off from the very things that are supposed to keep us balanced and healthy.
So what's the fix? The first step to getting that wholeness back, and this is so important, is literally just stepping outside. It's about reconnecting with the world around us in the most basic, fundamental way possible.
The idea here is that you can actually manage your physical and your mental health by just getting back in touch with nature's elements. Seriously, the more you're around water, soil, sunlight, the absolute basics of this planet, the more your whole system, inside and out, starts to find its balance. And this is all about making different choices, right? Like instead of an urban vacation, what if you took the kids into the jungle or out on a boat? The point is to swap out that screen time for something real, something that gets you moving and engaging with the world. It's about finally giving all that pent-up physical and emotional energy somewhere to go. Now, this connection to nature isn't just about what's outside of us. It's also about what we put inside our bodies. So let's move on to our next big idea and look at how what we eat and drink can either help us find that balance or throw it completely off. Okay, so the source highlights 2 specific things from nature that are supposed to be amazing for this inner balance. First up is ash cord juice. It's said to give you this huge burst of energy, but a really calm, focused kind of energy that also makes you sharper. And then there's honey. A little bit of honey every day is linked to being more psychologically stable and just having more vitality. And this comparison to coffee really drives the point home. A lot of us grab a coffee when we need to pick me up, right? But that energy often comes with the jitters, that kind of agitated feeling. The alternative here, this ash cord juice, is said to give you all that energy, maybe even more, but it keeps you super, super calm. It's a totally different kind of fuel. All right, let's shift gears and turn inward for a second. There's this really fascinating idea from yogic philosophy, and it's the idea that your mental state is directly tied to how clean your internal systems are. Yeah, it's a super powerful and direct link. So you might be wondering, how does that even work? I mean, we hear a lot about the gut-brain connection in science these days, right? Well, this yogic perspective has a very, let's say, straightforward and ancient take on that whole relationship. From this point of view, the link is, well, it's shockingly direct. It says that any kind of psychological disturbance is very, very connected to your colon not being clean.
The thinking is, if your gut is out of whack, that imbalance isn't just a physical problem, it's going to show up in your mind too. See, our bodies have these four main ways of cleaning themselves out, and they're always working. You've got exhaling, sweating, urination, and bowel movements. And how well those systems are working is a huge clue to your overall health. If any one of them isn't working efficiently, it's a sign that you're either already in a state of ill health or you're heading there pretty fast. And here's a really practical benchmark for what it considers, really good health. A sign that your internal plumbing is working great. Your bowels empty themselves all on their own, completely, within about 20 minutes of you waking up in the morning. Okay, so let's bring all this together. We've talked about connecting with nature, nourishing our bodies, and this idea of internal cleansing. Let's wrap it all up into one complete picture of what it means to be a whole human being. And really, it all boils down to these four essential parts of you. You've got your body, your mind, your emotions, and your energy. And that feeling of wholeness, that real health we've been talking about, that's what happens when you get all four of those things working together in balance. And that's really the whole point of this. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to become what the Source calls a reasonably complete human being. I like that phrase. When those four parts of you are in harmony, you've got the foundation you need to just live your life fully. Absolutely fully. So, let's end with a question that can take all of this from just an idea to something you can actually do. Just take a second and look at your own life, your body, your mind, your emotions, and your energy. Which one of those four needs a little more of your attention today? Whatever the answer is, that could be your very first step toward feeling more whole.